everyone. Warm welcome to crop production and management class. We have discussed in the previous class about agriculture, definition of agriculture. In the last class we have discussed about soil preparation. Today we are going to discuss about agricultural implements. Before that, as usual, we will discuss few GK questions. Today GK question, listen carefully children. Categories of crops in India. Today GK question about categories of crops in India. We have discussed in our class crops are classified two types according to their season. The major crops can be divided into four main categories. Depending on their usage. Now categories of crops in India depending on their usage. Four major category. First one is food crops. Second one cash crops. Third one plantation crops. Fourth one horticulture crops. Food crops, cash crops, plantation crops, and fourth one is horticulture crops. Food crops example wheat, rice, maize, millets, pulses, all those crops will come under food crops. Second one is cash crops. Sugarcane, cotton, jute, all those things will come under cash crops. Third one is plantation crops. Coffee, tea, coconut, all those crops will come under plantation crops. And fourth one is horticulture crops. Fruits and vegetables will come under horticulture crops. Today GK question we have discussed about categories of crops in India. So divided four main categories depending on their usage. Okay, with that we'll start today's class. Agricultural implements. Before sowing the seeds, it is necessary to break soil clumps to get better yield. So before sowing seed. So first one is we have discussed about preparation of soil. The next step is sowing. So after preparation of soil, before sowing we have to do, before sowing the seed, it is necessary to break what? Soil clumps. For what? For better yield. Then only we will get better yield, good yield of crops. Okay, this is done with the help of various tools. How we can able to break the soil clumps? By the help of various tools. Okay, what are those tools? The main tools used for this purpose. What are the tools? Plow, hoe and cultivator. So in that first one we'll discuss plow. First one is what? Plow. This is being used since ancient time for tilling the soil. So this tool is used from what? From ancient time. Okay, for what purpose we are using? For what purpose and all we are using? Tilling the soil. Tilling the soil means what, children? We have already learned that turning the soil, and turning the soil is nothing but tilling the soil. Okay, adding fertilizers to the crop. Second one is adding fertilizers to the crop. So first one is tilling the soil and second one is fertilizers. So adding fertilizers to the crops and removing weeds and turning the soil. Okay, this is being used since ancient time. What are the purpose we are using? Tilling the soil and adding fertilizers and removing weeds and turning the soil. For these purpose we are using plow tool. And this is made up of wood. This plow tool is made up of what? Made up of wood, and it is drawn by a pair of bulls or other animals like horses or camel. So this is drawn by what? Pair of bulls. Okay, so for our purpose we are using plow. First point, that is tilling the soil, removing weeds and adding fertilizers and turning the soil. All this purpose we are using the plow. And this plow is made up of what? This plow is made up of wood. And how we are using this? So this and drawn by pair of wool. If it is not there wool, by other animals what? Camel and horses. Okay, and it contains a strong triangular iron strip. So this plow contains what? Strong triangular iron strip called plowshare. You can see here triangular iron steel. This is nothing but plowshare. You can see in the diagram. Okay, and the main part of the plow is long log of wood, which is called plow shaft. So long log of wood. This is nothing but plow shaft. Okay, and there is a handle at one end of the shaft. So there is a handle. So in the handle we have, in the one end of the shaft we have handle, and the other end is attached to a beam which is placed on the bull's neck. One pair of bulls and a man can easily operate the plow. So how we can able to operate the plow? One man is enough and pair of bulls can able to operate the plow. Okay, so once again I will repeat. First one is plow. Plow for what purpose? This is being used ancient times. For what purpose we are using? For tilling the soil, adding fertilizers to the crop and removing weeds, and next turning the soil. These are the purpose we are using plow. And next point is, this is made up of what? Plow is made up of what? Plow is made up of wood. And how we can able to draw? This is drawn by pair of bulls or else horses or camel. Okay, and it contains, this plow contains what? Strong triangular strip, which is nothing but plowshare. And one more thing, it has what? The main part of the plow is a long log of wood, which is nothing but plow shaft. Okay, and the other end is attached to a beam which is placed on the bulls. So other end is placed on the bulls. So pair of bulls and a man is enough to operate this plow. I hope you understood plow. Next one is hoe. Next one is hoe. It is a simple tool which is used for what purpose we are using hoe? Removing weeds and for loosening the soil. First, for what purpose we are using this tool? For removing weeds and loosening the soil. Removing weeds and for loosening the soil. And it has a long rod of wood or iron. It has long rod of wood or else iron. Okay, wood or iron. First point, for what purpose we are using? For removing weeds and loosening the soil. And what it has long rod of wood or iron. Okay, a strong, broad and bent plate of iron is fixed to one of its end and work like a blade. So strong, broad and bent plate of iron. Plate of what? Iron is fixed. One end of its two. So that works like a blade. It is so sharp. It is pulled by animals. So this hoe is pulled by animals. Okay, what are the points you have to remember? For what purpose we are using? For removing weeds and for loosening the soil. And this, what it has, this hoe. So it has a long rod of iron or wood. And next one is, you should keep remember that a strong, broad and bent plate of iron is fixed to one end of its hoe. So it acts like what? Blade. And how it is pulled? It is pulled by animals. Okay. And second, next one is cultivator. Next one is cultivator. Nowadays plowing is done by tractor driven cultivator. So before and all we have to use plow machine, but nowadays we are using, for plowing we are using tractor. Okay, the use of cultivator saves labor and as well as time. So this cultivator saves labor as well as time. Okay, so in this session we have discussed about agricultural implements. Agricultural implements before sowing. So previous class we have discussed about preparation of soil. So next step in the agricultural practice is what? Sowing. So before sowing, what we must do? We must do, it is necessary to break what? Soil clumps for better yield. Okay. So how we have to do that? So break the soil clumps by using this various tools. What are those tools? Plow, hoe and cultivator. Okay, so these three tools we have discussed in this session. I hope all understood. In the next session, we'll discuss about sowing. Bye children.